you know.
Hmm.
We have one viewer waiting. Woohoo! Here we are.
Welcome. This is Active Aging with Barb. My name is Barb Eisenberg. I'm a physical therapist assistant and also a licensed massage therapist. And this is Madasher.
I'm a physical therapist and a certified expert in exercise for aging adult. So in the last class, we were here on Thursday. We were talking about a modified squat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what our goal is, and here's where we are trying to go. So our goal is to kind of going from this modified, we started to say sit to stand, but sit to stand is a functional squat, but squat does require more engagement of more muscles and also more range of motion. So as we are progressing from the modified squat, which you showed in the last class, right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to progress that. But I feel like it's important that we kind of master this modified squat before we kind of dive into like talking about how to do a good squat. And I feel like I'm a strong believer in squat. Like, you and I were just trying out and talking earlier, and how doing a good squat helps so many of your muscles.
It's actually a very complex motion. There's a lot going on, lots of joints mobilizing.
Yeah, you're
you
working
got
on your...
hips, you got knees, you got ankles, and you got your feet.
Absolutely.
All of those things are moving just by sitting down and standing up.
You're absolutely right. So I just want to preview it. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about modified squat, how Barb was showing how to do it. And then we're going to talk about where should you be feeling your weight when you do your squat. And then we talk about limitation in like your hips that might kind of prevent you from doing a good squat. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and then we'll take it to the next level at the next class. All right?
Great. All right. So reviewing last time, the sit to stand, we started sitting back in the chair. You would scoot forward and place your feet underneath your knees. Hands either on the chair if you need them, hands on your knees if you need that, or if you can do without hands, you just cross your arms and come up, and then slowly down.
So as you're doing that, Barb, where do you feel your weight as you're going down, descending into the chair?
Most of my weight I feel in my heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't know if it's that way for everyone. You can let us know.
No, I think
try it out.
I think that's how it should be for everyone.
Yeah.
Because though, if you notice that the weight of your body is going in the back, so that's where you'll feel mostly in your heels. So as they start and prepare to do this, Barb, where should they feel their weight?
Oh, we were going to show that. So we want your weight to be on 3 points of your foot, the heel, and then the 2 points on the ball of your foot underneath your big toe and underneath your little toe. So you've got 3 points of pressure. You don't want too much pressure in any one of these spots. You want it kind of equal on all 3 of those spots.
Yeah, and also one suggestion we were talking earlier is like, let me probably move up here, that if you're trying to do this sit to stand as an exercise and going to the modified squat, we will highly recommend you to do it without shoes, because I feel like a lot of times shoes kind of restrict the mobility. It does give stability, but it will take the mobility away from you. And I feel like you're in a safe environment. You're at home. You're practicing it on a chair. The worst thing is you're going to sit back in the chair. And one safety tip that we suggested earlier for you was making sure the chair is against the wall, just in case. I know it feels, it might feel, different because it's new motion, but we really do want you to feel very comfortable. And anything that you learn, because it's a new movement you're learning, and I feel like we have to be mindful of what we're trying to do. When we make that mindful and awareness of what I'm trying to do, that gets integrated better in our mind. So in therapy language we call it like motor planning. But there's so much of cognition that doing it mindfully will register it properly in your mind. So the other thing we were going to talk about is just the limitation in the mobility in the hip. A lot of, even including me, right? A lot of us have a lot of, either they have some restriction because of some, belly fat, or they have restriction in the joint itself, where as you squat down deep, you might not have able to achieve that. So we want to talk about that. How can we mobilize it before kind of jumping into the exercise? You want to talk a little bit?
So there's two ways you can mobilize that hip joint. You can bring your knee up, and that's mobilizing the hip. So you can do some marching in place, and you'll feel your hips get a little bit looser as you do that, and trying to lift them higher and higher. The other way, still mobilizing that hip joint, is to bring your trunk forward. And you might want to use a chair just for safety.
Yeah.
Or just bending forward and reaching toward your toes. If you're still bending at that hip joint, but instead of bringing your knee up, you're bringing your chest forward. And you can use a chair if you feel like it's more comfortable that way. Still trying to mobilize this hip joint so that it can come forward.
Good. Let me go ahead and try this stretch out. So again, as we were talking about being mindful, making sure the weight of the body's weight is on your heel and the two other points on your right on the ball of your foot. So that's what I'm trying to make consciously aware that that's where my body's weight is. As I reach down, again, you will see that I have significant limitations in my hamstring. But if I just hang in there for a little while, even I do it for over a period of 1 minute, you will see that I can achieve, just trying to touch my toes.
Then you want to make sure you breathe, because breathing helps lengthen the muscles and release that tension.
Yeah, that I was not
Help
doing.
you go farther.
I was more focused on getting down. So breathing is absolutely important. And for stretching, recommendation for seniors, ideally you want to stretch up to 60 seconds right prior to this activity, so that will kind of help you out. So before we kind of dive into the more details of mechanics of squat, do you mind like quickly reviewing of what we said, and then we'll jump right into the class?
Sure. So couple of things that we were talking about is where you want to feel the weight in your foot, and you want it on the 3 points, 2 points under on the ball of your foot and on the heel of your foot. So when you go down, when you lower down, you want to feel the weight on those 3 points. And the other...
But as they squat down, most of their weight will be in the heel, right? Because of where they're going.
That's right. Because you're shifting your weight back, you should feel most of the weight in your heels. Correct.
Yeah, just do you mind showing that one more time? I just wanted to kind of talk about, as you're coming up, one movement I want you to go ahead and come up.
Oh,
it's
right.
like tuck your buttocks underneath you, so that gives more, a little bit more of like a pelvic movement that a lot of us lack, and it just strengthens it. So if you want to make it like exaggerated a little bit, so you feel like your buttocks is coming underneath you as you come up. So try to focus on that as well.
You could almost push them forward a little bit,
Yeah.
because a lot of people are restricted in the front, and because we sit a lot, so this muscle gets shorter and shorter, makes it harder to actually fully straighten that the front of the hip.
Yeah.
I can feel that in myself.
Yeah. I think I feel a lot of us have more like an anteriorly tilted pelvis. And the second was trying to stretch out and the hip flexion.
There we go. And then, so then to loosen up that hip joint, you can do the marching in place, or you can bring the chest forward and reaching down toward your toes. And holding it and breathing, trying not to round your back, but keeping it flat. And trying to go farther and farther. You'll feel a really good stretch in the back here.
Great.
But that's what's going to get the mobility in the hip joints.
Good. Again, this might be too much.
One other thing I just want to mention, because sometimes if you come up too fast, you might get dizzy. So when you're doing that stretch where you're leaning down, just come up slowly, have a chair there, take a couple of breaths. Sometimes if you come up too fast, the blood rushes to your head and you get a little lightheaded. You don't want that to
Yeah,
happen.
so, so again, be mindful of what you're doing and be cautious, right? So again, we'll dive, if you have any questions, do send it in the comment or email us at info@tahcares.com. We do regularly check that email and then we can respond to you if you have any questions. And also, as we just get into the exercise program, over a period of time, we will modify our routine and incorporate new exercises. That's what we plan on doing.
I'm hoping to get an aerobic routine going really soon.
Yeah, and then we will make it more diverse versions of exercises. But again, anytime before you start a physical activity, you want to make sure your doctor is okay with that. And also, if you're having severe chest pain or shortness of breath, that you should immediately stop the activity and talk to your doctors. And also, if you're having any moderate or severe pain, that's something definitely physical therapists can kind of assess and let you know where your challenge is, and we can help you there. But again, always consult your healthcare provider, including physical therapist and your physician, to continue to have an active lifestyle. So it's all
Sounds
yours.
good. Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
So we always start with a warm-up, and I'm going to just march in place, lifting knees. This was the hip mobilizer that we were just talking about. Lift them high or lift them low. You can also kind of push into the floor with your toes to get your toes and your feet warmed up a little bit. Lifting up. Start with deep breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Good work. Keep lifting those knees and pointing the toes, getting the ankle going. Lift and lift. Try to push into the ground with those toes. Good job. 5 more seconds and we'll change it up. Good work. And we'll go kicks. Kick and kick. So I'm kicking with my knee. Kick and kick. Kick and kick. If you want to make it more difficult, a little bend in the knees. That always gets my heart going. The other way to get your heart going is to add the arms. If you really want to get the heart rate up. It's amazing. Just adding arms really makes a big difference. It's up to you. You decide. This is your workout, remember? So you decide how hard you want to work today. Some days you might want to tone it down. Other days you might want to challenge yourself. You're not trying to compete with anyone. So 4 seconds and we'll switch it up. Just doing some kicks. I gotta get mine higher. So stretch out the hips a little more. And we'll kick across. So a little bit of twist in the hips. A little more rotation. Loosen up the back. The spine needs to move in all different directions. Your spine should be able to move side to side, front to back, and that rotation movement. A lot of people have back issues. You want to keep those at bay. No back issues. So we're kicking across. Kicking across. You can add some arms if you want to make it a little dance. Good job. 5 more seconds and we'll switch it up. 3, 2, and 1. Now we'll go side to side. Side to side. So we're getting the side of the hips. Those are the hip abductors we talked about weeks ago. Again, with all of our joints, we want them to move in all of the directions that they are able to. So hip joints are very mobile. They can move front, back, side to side, and even in a circle. do some of that later. Side to side, if you want to add arm movements, get the heart rate up more. Remember, if you're getting your heart rate up, then you're making it an aerobic workout. That means you're strengthening your heart so that when you're not exercising, it doesn't have to work as hard. Pumping the oxygen around your body. That's why it's called aerobic. Alright, good work. And you can do one arm. Getting a little stretch in the side. Stretch. And if you bend, then you activate those quad muscles. So anytime, whoops, I got out of synchronization. Reach and touch. Reach and touch. Good work. I hope you have your favorite music on. Makes a big difference. Alright. 5 more seconds and we'll change it up. Reach and touch. Now we'll reach forward. Reach and touch. So a little more of a stretch in the sides. Reach. A little more back rotation. And a little more shoulder motion. Reach. This is almost like a punch. So if you want to get your frustration out about something, punch a little harder. Punch and punch. Punch. And I'm still tapping with the toes. And we got 12 more seconds. You can do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's do a big rotation with the shoulder. So starting with a figure 8. Deep breathe. Making those circles bigger and bigger until you're reaching all the way down to the 4 and all the way up. All the way down if you can, and all the way up. And big circles. Big circles. Trying to reach behind you. Big circle. And other arm. Start small. Turning the hand over. See my thumb's pointing down one way and down the other way. Make it bigger and bigger. Bigger and bigger. I'm feeling it all the way down from my shoulder to my hip. It's a big stretch. And bigger. All the way down if you can. Bending the knees. And bigger. And bigger. Now let's try both arms together. So elbows back. Up. Back. And up. So a little bit. So you're making, rounding the shoulders, coming up, and arching the back. Show you from the side, rounding and arching. Rounding, try to increase the mobility in that lower back. A lot of people are very stiff there. This should feel really good. Rounding the back and arching. Rounding and arching. Round. At 4, 5. Go all the way down if you want a bigger stretch. 6. let's do a little hip motion. Instead of just straight motions, we're going to make some letters. So let's do, make an A. You might have a chair nearby. Make an A. We're going to do the alphabet. B, big letters. C, if you really want to work your balance, try not to hold on. D and E. We're stopping at E. Other leg. A, B, C, D, and E. Great exercise. You're moving the hip in all different directions. Very nice. All right. Let's go on to ankles. So going up and down, up and down. Getting the toes, the feet, the ankles, and the calves. And 6, and 7, and 8. Let's do a couple just with one foot. So hand on your chair and try to go up and down. 2, watch your balance. 3, and down. Other side. Going up, and 2, and 3, and 4. It's a lot harder doing it on one foot. All right, now we'll go back to the hips, going straight leg, lifting up in the front, 2, 3, and 4, and then to the side, 2, 3, and 4. Front, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and side. Keep everything else still. Then you're working the core. One more time. Flex foot, 3, and 4, and to the side. 2, and 3, and 4. Good job. Both hips are working when you're standing on one foot. Front, 2, 3, and 4, and side. 2, 3, and 4. Again. 2, 3, 4, and side. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Flex the foot. And 3, and 4, and side. 2, 3, and 4. Good job. Shake out those hips a little bit, and we'll move on to shoulders. So hands straight out in front. We're going up and then out. Up and out. Up and out. Try not to thrust your hips forward. Just move the arms. So you're really working the shoulder joint. Up and out. Trying to get the hands behind the plane of your body. Up. These are some posture muscles, very important. And out. Up and out. Up and out. Up and out. Up. 2 more. And 1 more. Let's change it up just a little bit. So starting here, I'm going to press back and then slowly come up. Press back here, up a little more, press back, a little more, press back, a little more, press back, and at the top. It's hardest at the top. And here, and then work your way down. Press back, press back, press back. One more time. Up, press back a little bit, press back a little bit, almost up to the top. And right at the top. Work your way down. Press back, and press back, and press back, and back. Good job. Shake it out. All right, this time we're doing the triceps. So you're going to push like you're pushing a heavy object. Push to the front, and push to the side. Push to the front, and push to the side. Front, and side, front and side. Front, let's add some legs, so knees out, push front and side, front and side, front and side. 10 seconds. You can do it. 9 and 8 and 7. Keep going. Might feel some burning in your legs. That's perfectly normal. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Now let's push up to the ceiling. So starting here, push up and up, up and up. Good job. Really push. And push. Now let's change it and we'll do a little lunge. So we're pushing off to the side and push. So here we're working that elbow extension, this tricep. We're also working the quads. And anytime you're leaning to the side, you're working all down the side. So that's the core, part of the core, all around the middle, coming up. Bend to the side and up. 3 and up. 4 and up. If you need to lean on that leg, go ahead and use it. If you want to make it harder, try not using it. So then you're really working the core. 6, 2 more, 7, and up, 8, and up. Good job. Turn your feet to the other side, reaching up and over. 1, 2, and 3, and up. 4, up, 5, and 6, and 7. You should feel around here. 1 more, hold it, and up. Good job. Back to some squats. So feet wider than hip width, toes pointing out. We're going to go down for 2, and up for 1. Down for 2, and up for 1. Let's add the arms. Up, down for 2, and up. Down for 2, and up. Down for 2. Push up. Down for 2, and reach. 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 Keep it going. We're building some endurance in these quad muscles. Large muscle group, they need some endurance. So you can walk far, you can climb stairs, you're getting up and down out of the chair easily. Down for 2, and up. Good job. And 2 more, and 1 more. And reach. Good job. All right, we're going straight to the core now. So hands on your hips to start. We're going to bend to the side, a little bit to the front, and to the other side. Side, and front, and to the other side. Good job. If you want to make it a little harder, reach out one arm. So we'll go arm out to the side, out to the front, and to the other side. Really makes a difference. Side, front. Really try to bend. If you want to make it even harder, both arms out, front and side. You should really be feeling the core working here. Side, front, and side. Couple more. Side, and front, and side. 1 more. Front and side. Good job. Shake out the shoulders and we'll go onto ankles and quads. We'll do little lunges to the front. So let's take a step back. So take a step back, bend that knee, and come up. Step back, bend the knee. So you're bending both knees and coming down. Might need that chair for balance. And come up. Step back, bend both knees. Try to keep this knee over that foot. Don't let the knee go in front of the foot, because that puts some strain on that knee. And come up. Let's do 2 more. Step back. Knee comes down. You decide how far down you want to go. Back and down. Really working that quad when you come up. Let's do the other side. So stepping back, big step, coming down, and up. So I have a sore toe on that foot, so this one, a little bit of challenge for me. Come up, step back, lower down, and up. But it's also a really good stretch for your toes. Toes need to bend. Step back, down, and up. Step back and down. We'll do 2 more. Back and down. And up. 1 more. Back and down. And up. Good job. I could feel those quads working. Alright, this time we're going to do another hip rotation. So knee comes up and then out, back and down.